is that they're probably going to exceed expectations. We're forecasting 425,000 units of volume ahead of consensus 420,000 units.
In this video, an analyst with a $275 per share price target on Tesla stock says some things about Tesla that actually make sense. What a surprise. The Yahoos on Yahoo Finance continue to live up to their name, and an interesting poll regarding Republicans, Democrats, and independent voters and their thoughts on Elon Musk and Tesla. And a quick heads up, I posted an exclusive video today on Patreon. The too long didn't watch. Turns out that Lucid is learning that production is really hard. If you're not a member, you can join Patreon with the card in the corner or the link in the pinned comment.
A bullish call on the street. Barclays reiterating its overweight rating on Tesla and $275 price target on the stock. Shares closing the day up just about 0.7%, just below $192 a share.
So that price target of $275 per share is an increase of approximately 42.69%. Tesla stock bucking the trend today, up despite most growth stocks getting absolutely
We want to bring in the analyst behind that note, Dan Levy, Barclays senior autos analyst. Dan, good to see you. So you think that stock still has significant room to rally. So what's the catalyst on the docket?
Hi, thank you for having me, Shauna and Dave. Yeah, the call into the deliveries result, which we expect probably over the weekend, is that they're probably going to exceed expectations. We're forecasting 425,000 units of volume ahead of consensus 420,000 units.
Further proof that the simulation is real. Consensus forecast for Tesla deliveries in Q1 2023, literally 420,000. Need I say more?
A lot of that is pegged to some of the production commentary that they provided and some assumptions on how production fared in March, and with the idea that inventory build is only going to be modest. And so we think that it could be a positive event and a positive catalyst for the stock, which has been under a little bit of negative sentiment lately, given some questions on demand.
You expect additional price cuts. What about impact on margins, Dan?
Yeah, it's a very relevant question, and it's I would say for all automakers right now, the path to EV, you're dealing with two questions. One is the ramp on volume, but it's also a question on margins. But I think the key point for Tesla is that because they have such a significant cost lead, it's only natural that they're going to use or lean into their margin advantage or their cost lead to unlock further volume. In fact, this was a key message that we got out of the Investor Day a few weeks ago. They are going to try to drive costs down, and with that, they will unlock further volume.
Amazing. A Wall Street stock analyst who saw Tesla's Investor Day 2023 presentation, saw Tesla's roadmap to literally halve the cost to produce a compelling electric vehicle, engaged his brain, and realized that if Tesla halves the price of a compelling electric vehicle, they'll be able to sell a compelling electric vehicle at a lower price point, meaning more people can afford to buy such a compelling electric vehicle, meaning more people will buy the compelling electric vehicle, meaning Tesla will sell more vehicles. I shouldn't be surprised or impressed, but unfortunately I am, because most who saw this presentation disappointed, confused, didn't understand it, and are still scratching their heads wondering how could Tesla possibly sell even close to 20 million vehicles in a single year? That's impossible. That's twice as many as any other automotive manufacturers ever sold in a single year. Oh, by the way, Tesla doesn't have enough different vehicle models. I mean, I still just don't understand why Wall Street doesn't understand. I'm trying to understand why Wall Street doesn't understand, and I just don't. It's a pleasant surprise when a Wall Street stock analyst covering Tesla stock actually understands the company.
So it's only natural that they're going to lean into the margins to unlock volume.
So Dan, how big of a boost do you think potential further price cuts are going to be with demand? I know you're expecting 425,000 units for deliveries in the first quarter. What does the second quarter then potentially look like?
There's going to be a ramp in volume going forward. And I think the key point I would make is that they are ramping on supply at some of their other facilities, right? So the question of price cuts, it is natural just given some of the economic pressures that we're seeing. And we're seeing this broadly in the US market, right? I mean, US pricing as a whole for the US industry is starting to come down off of all-time highs. So Tesla is subject to the same sort of pricing dynamics that we see in the industry. On top of that, you also get some ramp in volume at their new facilities, the facility in Austin, the facility in Berlin. As more supply comes online, it's only natural that they're probably going to cut prices somewhat to unlock that.
This is true, It's in Tesla's master plan, but something many people seem to be forgetting, very short-term memories. Tesla's going to continue over the long term to slash the prices of their vehicles. Doesn't mean they're only going to go down. Sometimes prices will go up, but the trend over time will be down as they drive their costs lower. Their prices will come down, more people will be able to afford Teslas, more people will buy Teslas. This is how they scale to 20 plus million vehicles per year. Kind of wish I didn't need to keep explaining this, but people still don't seem to understand this.
I'll also point out that in the U.S. specifically, first quarter, there was potentially some pull forward of demand given the dynamics of the IRA. This is the new legislation around the EV tax credit. And there was some temporary waiting period on when the full guidance is released. So in that time, they got full credit. There was probably some pull forward of demand. Remains to be seen what happens, but they're going to have more supply hitting. There will probably be some other price cuts, but just remember, there is some offset on the margins given additional fixed cost absorption, and also as raw mats are starting to moderate somewhat.
Just to translate the jargon there, it is true. Price cuts will temporarily reduce Tesla's profit margins on vehicles, but there's a counterforce working in the opposite direction. Tesla's costs are coming down. The more Tesla ramps up production, the more they benefit from economies of scale. Some of their costs are fixed. They don't increase as their production increases, meaning their cost per vehicle is lower. Also, materials going in the vehicles, prices on those are coming down as well. So at the same time, Tesla has been reducing prices. They've also been reducing their cost to produce their vehicles. It's important to understand this. I think a lot of investors are overestimating the impact of the price cuts on Tesla's profitability this quarter. They will have an impact, but it seems that Tesla's general rule of thumb is as our costs come down, we'll pass those cost savings on to consumers. The caveat here, of course, is Tesla doesn't want the wait times for new customers ordering a vehicle to get to ridiculous levels as they once were. It's a bit of a balancing act.
And Dan, there's always the Elon factor. An interesting heat map climate poll of 1,000 Americans showed that 36% said Elon Musk makes them less likely to buy a Tesla.
So I just want to do a quick fact check on this supposed poll. Find out, who'd they poll? What were the actual results? Is it true that big bad Elon is making people less likely to buy a Tesla? Let's find out from the source. Elon Musk's recent behavior may be catching up to Tesla as a small plurality of prospective electric vehicle buyers now say they are less likely to buy one of the automaker's cars because of its billionaire owner. According to the inaugural heat map climate poll, a scientific survey of 1,000 Americans conducted last month, some 36% of Americans who want to buy an EV in the future say that Musk's actions are making them less likely to get a Tesla, the poll finds. That's slightly larger than the 31% of prospective EV buyers who say that Musk is making them more likely to purchase a Tesla. These numbers tighten marginally when people who already drive an EV, many of them presumably Tesla drivers, are included in the group. Interesting. Why would it be that existing Tesla owners were more likely to buy a Tesla again? So let's look at the polling here. Has Elon Musk made you more or less likely to buy or lease a Tesla? These results from future EV drivers. 32%, no impact. 31%, more likely. 36%, less likely. In other words, it's basically a completely even mix. Pretty much cancels everything out, right? The more likely and the less likely almost the same, and the no impact basically the same. They're all about 33%. What a nothing burger. But it gets better. Musk appears to be particularly damaging the automaker's brand among virtue signaling Democrats, as opposed to just Democrats. The new poll finds some 44% of Democrats and left-leaning independents say Musk has made them less likely to look at a Tesla, the new poll finds. By the way, this is all talk. It's important for people to signal virtue when they respond to polls as well, but the company's vehicle sales tell the true story. The poll adds to a growing sense that Musk's extracurricular activities may be starting to backfire on the automaker, which he co-founded and where he remains CEO. Correction, Techno King. A YouGov poll recently found that, for the first time on record, Tesla is no longer the top choice for EV buyers. Stop right there. This, ladies and gentlemen, is why it's very important to discern. Apparently, according to this poll, Tesla's no longer the top choice for EV buyers. Is that so? Is there any data we have to back this up or perhaps to disprove this? Yeah, there's plenty of data to disprove this. Look at Tesla sales. What a fucking joke. So take this poll and all polls with a Mount Everest-sized grain of salt. An interesting note. Perhaps the brightest spot in the data for him is that among high-income Americans, defined as those who make more than $100,000 a year, slightly more say Musk has made them more likely to consider a Tesla than less likely. I wonder why this is. I actually know the answer to this. I'm not going to say it out loud, but there's a correlation. It's not perfect, but there is a correlation with a certain attribute of people and income. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but if I did know what it is, then it might explain a few things why these people seem to be making more reasonable and rational decisions rather than just virtue signaling. Musk also seems to be successfully rallying Republicans to the brand. About a third of Republicans and conservative-leaning independents say Musk's actions have made them more likely to get a Tesla. Has Elon Musk made you more or less likely to buy or lease a Tesla? More likely in blue, less likely in red, and no impact in grey. Bit confusing because Republicans and Democrats usually blue and red, but just to be clear, 24% of Democrats more likely to buy a Tesla as a result of Elon Musk. 44% desperate for you to know that they're a good person, which is why they support all the current things, including hating Elon Musk. 44% less likely, according to the responses to this poll. Just like the average self-reported length of a dick is about 12 inches. People are very honest on polls, even when they're anonymous. 1/3 of Democrats, no impact at all. Independents, 21% more likely, 25% less likely, and 54% no impact. Why the f*** would that be? Why is it the people who consider themselves to be politically independent, more than half of these people, no impact at all? It's almost as if these people like to, what's that word? Think for themselves. 36% of Republicans more likely to buy an electric vehicle as a result of Elon Musk. Now, this actually makes a lot of sense. Why? Many Republican voters, historically speaking, less likely to give a shit about the environment and or think climate change is a hoax and or just not particularly interested. And what's happened here? A typical Republican is a little bit more interested in freedom rather than censorship. Elon Musk has been fighting for freedom. We saw what happened with Twitter, $44 billion act of philanthropy. I think he gained a lot of respect from many Republicans who thought, this motherfucker cares a lot about free speech. Let me check out these vehicles that he makes. They're actually not bad at all. Might buy me a Tesla. 15% of Republicans less likely. Just goes to show you can't please everyone. And amazingly, it almost seems like 49% of Republicans, almost half of Republicans also like to use their brain instead of being told what to think. And just like independent voters there, who gives a fuck? I mean, if the vehicle's good, I don't give a fuck about what Elon's doing or says or what opinions he has. So I think what we can see here in a nutshell, one of these three groups seems to be more interested in signaling virtue than anything else, and the other two seem to prefer to think for themselves. I wonder how many of the Democrats over here have any qualms buying a Ford or a VW. If you're unsure why I would even ask that question out loud, you might want to do some homework into the founding of these companies and or some of the philosophies of the previous founders of said companies. Let's just leave it at that.
And then there's the always present Twitter overhang that had quieted for quite some time. And as you know, it feels like it's very much back in the news. Is Elon a positive for the overall branding of Tesla?
Listen, Elon is certainly a core question. I go back to the notion, though, that for all the questions on governance that we've seen, and this was something that emerged late last year, this is still a company that has a leading product, leading cost, and they're going to use that to ramp on volume. I think another message from the company also at the Investor Day, the reason why they had, by the end of the Investor Day, 17 people on stage alongside Elon, was to show the depth of their bench. So yes, Elon is still a critical factor here. He is the one driving the vision. But I think the point is that there's more to Tesla than Elon.
And here I was thinking that Elon Musk was the product that Tesla sells. Oh, and he's also the sole employee of the company. Oh, and also every time he has an opinion about anything, it damages Tesla's brand. Guess that's what happens when you live in a local echo chamber. Definitely not pointing fingers or naming any names here. Let's just randomly pick a state out of a hat. California. If you happen to live in California, you may in fact be under the impression that Elon Musk is Tesla. Elon's opinions are Tesla. And anytime Elon has opinions about anything, he's just trying to destroy your client's investment in Tesla stock. Wait, did I say client's investment? That might be too much of a clue. I better edit that out.
Yeah, we've just never seen, Dan, an automaker with a polarizing CEO. So it's unlike anything we've ever seen. In your sense, though, is he a pro? Is he a con?
I'll take that one. First of all, just so you know, Yahoo is a left-leaning publication, aka just about everyone who works for Yahoo votes Democrat. And obviously, because Elon bad, according to the political left, they must dislike Elon. They must focus on Elon. They must cause controversy about Elon. Is Elon bad? Is Elon damaging Tesla? Elon. Dear Yahoos at Yahoo Finance, Tesla's products are the product, not Elon. His presence is irrelevant, except to a very small minority of virtue signaling drones who are so desperate for you to approve of them that They'll follow whatever the current talking points are, including Elon bad. But when you remove yourself from this bubble, you will find that 99% of consumers do not give a flying fuck. Again, the example of VW and Ford. Who founded VW? What did Henry Ford think about certain people? Is this a problem? Well, I mean, these companies are still in business today and they're still selling vehicles today. Call me crazy, but Elon Musk's desire to eliminate the woke mind virus probably isn't quite the same level as certain ideologies wanting to eliminate people, lots of people, who actually did eliminate lots of people. Elon Musk's opinions, comments, they're fucking irrelevant. I do not know when these clowns are going to get it through their fucking heads. It's completely irrelevant. How many people refuse to own an iPhone because there may be some questionable labor practices going on in certain parts of the world where they manufacture some of their products? A very vocal minority of NPCs, virtue signaling mindless drones who always support the current thing, are distorting the perceptions of people who can't think clearly. I hope the Analyst, given the fact that he seems relatively switched on, I suspect he probably will say, well, let's be honest, it's more of a distraction, it's not really relevant, doesn't really matter, the products are killing it, industry-leading margins, insane scale, compelling products. I really think you guys are making something out of nothing here.
Tesla would not have done what they've done without Elon. So I don't think they would have gotten to this place. And there's a very fascinating history of Tesla that there were a lot of decisions that many of us, myself included, questioned along the way. Look, Tesla would not have gotten to the point where they are, taking some very unorthodox routes without Elon's guidance. So yes, certainly I can appreciate the fact that there are some questions on how Elon may be perceived, and the Twitter overhang was certainly a question. But I just go back to the product. It has a lead. They have a clear cost lead. I mean, Tesla is doing 17% EBIT margin last year. If you compare that to some of the other automakers, I mean, it's a clear lead over others. I'll just point out Ford, for instance, last week just reported that they had negative 40% EBIT margins on their EVs. And while this is going to narrow, it's going to be a long path. And that's not specific to Ford. I mean, we're seeing that with others as well. The path to EV profitability is not easy. So Tesla has a lead in this regard.
Yeah, certainly has first mover's advantage there, at least for now. Dan Levy, great to have you. Thanks so much.
Well, I called it. Analyst there, very quick to point out the products themselves, the pricing power. That's what matters. I can't quite put my finger on it, but it seems there's a large number of people out there who almost want to be distracted by Elon Musk and miss what's actually going on. Oh no, Elon Musk had an opinion. Let's ignore everything about Tesla, their competitive advantages, their profit margins, their products, their software capabilities. Let's ignore everything. Elon had an opinion. I don't like that opinion. Actually, I don't know about that opinion, but somebody told me I shouldn't like that opinion. Therefore, I don't like that opinion. P.S. Elon bad. P.S. I'm a good person, right? Because I said Elon bad. Do you approve of me? Oh, should I put some more emojis in my profiles online just so you really know I'm a good person? What are the current things that I need to put in my bio so you know I'm a good person? It's almost like Elon Musk is the ultimate manifestation of a shiny object from shiny object syndrome. Oh, look, Elon Musk. Well, time to exclusively focus on Elon Musk and ignore literally everything else, aka things that actually matter. If I didn't know any better, I might suggest there's a common thread between the folks who are focusing on details that don't matter and ignoring reality. What might that be? An unwillingness or an inability to engage their brain. Maybe there's not enough fuel in the tank, they don't have the energy to think, and therefore they can't think because thinking hurts. It'd be too much of a drain on the system. That's my most generous interpretation. But don't worry, I'm not just here to point out things that are true but not nice to hear. I'm also here to offer a solution. I am, of course, talking about Athletic Greens AG1, one of the biggest tools in my health toolkit. I take this stuff every morning, 1 scoop once a day, every day, and I've been doing so now for almost 2 years, and I've never felt better. Much like the polls we saw earlier in this video, I've recently conducted my own polls of every single human being on Earth, and I've discovered that literally 0 people on Earth who think Elon Musk's opinions are a risk to Tesla and he's damaging Tesla's brand are taking Athletic Greens AG1. Very scientific. Just trust the science. I am the science. Don't ask questions, bitches. Also, it's for your safety, not our quarterly profits. But in all seriousness, if you want to feel and perform your best and have enough energy to actually use your brain, you've got to try Athletic Greens AG1. It's a great way to fill in nutritional gaps with 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients, plus prebiotics, probiotics, adaptogens, and digestive enzymes. Plus, if you head to athleticgreens.com/SMR or use the link in the pinned comment, you'll get a 1-year free supply of vitamin D3 and K2, and you can start your daily health habit now. There's a pretty good chance that within a few weeks, you'll have enough energy to actually use your brain, and when you use your brain, you'll realize, oh, wait, Elon has opinions. Tesla's still selling every vehicle they make. They still have industry-leading margins. They still have insane scale. They're growing faster than anyone else. They've got the world's best engineers, the best technology, the best software. I think they're going to be fine. Here's what some viewers of the channel have to say. Been taking AG1 for just over 2 weeks now. Incredible difference and no more afternoon fatigue. My mental game has improved greatly with AG1. Didn't expect this to happen, but I really needed it. Been taking AG1 daily and I realised I fall asleep better and faster, feel more focused and have better digestion. I've been on Athletic Greens AG1 for 3 months now and I've literally stopped drinking coffee because of it. Not intentionally, I just don't need it now. Day 30 of AG1 and I cannot explain to you how much better I'm feeling. My social anxiety is so much better. I did not expect it to help so much, but it has. I feel energized, ready to do things. I've been staying on top of things for the first time in years. If you haven't tried it already, really, truly try it. I was a skeptic. I did not at all believe it was going to help, and it has, significantly. These past few weeks, I've noticed how much more I love working all day, every day since the first couple of days of trying it. Ain't no placebo effect. Also, have a positive mood toward myself and others. Do these sound like people who've got a newfound lease on life, more energy? In fact, enough energy to actually think about things and realize that Elon having opinions is not a problem for Tesla? I think so. Just received my second pouch of AG1 and I find an improvement in short-term memory and not napping during the day as I did pre-AG1. Worth the price. And one more. From somebody who's now on their 3rd month of Athletic Greens AG1. I continue to have more energy, especially in the mornings, to hit it harder and harder at workouts. Continue to have mental sharpness. Feel more driven to succeed in both my business growth and my personal life goals. This has also snowballed into a kind of new sense of peace. Lower anxiety and refocus my priorities on life, family, friends, better work-life balances, as I never feel overwhelmed with anything. So as you can see, Athletic Greens AG1 is garbage. You won't feel better, you won't perform better, you won't think better, it won't help anxiety, it won't do anything. And these people are all just paid shills in my comments. But if you happen to think that these are actual legitimate testimonials from people who actually did take a leap and tried Athletic Greens AG1 without risk, there is a 90-day money-back guarantee, so what's the worst that could have happened? Head to athleticgreens.com/SMR or click the link in the pinned comment. Start your daily health habit now and let me know how you're feeling in a few weeks' time. And don't forget, if you'd like to see the latest train wreck that is Lucid really struggling, head over to Patreon. You can unlock that plus over 300 other exclusive videos and plenty of other content and perks. You can join with the card in the corner or the link in the pinned comment, and I'll see you over there. Love ya.